All right. Good morning, live. Good morning, Facebook Live. Rise Mastermind. Remember, we're going to rise to our potential, rise to the occasion, and rise to the challenge. So, last week we talked about how difficult it can be as an entrepreneur and kind of be kind of lonely. And so we talked about some things that you could do to help with that. And one of the things that we talked about was finding an accountability partner. And so today I wanted to bring on Jen Currence, and we were going to talk about good morning, Jen, accountability partners. I think it's going to work. It says it's adding her. Hey! Oh my God!
And we worked. We finally figured it out.
So for those of you that are going to watch later, just know that we've had some technical difficulties this morning, so it took us about 10 minutes to get going. But I was just sharing with them that we're talking about how difficult it can be to be an entrepreneur. And I know you and I have talked about that struggle before. So this morning I just wanted to talk about it and talk about one of the ways that we actually help each other with that endeavor. So why don't you take a minute and introduce yourself to everyone and what you do, who you are, and we'll take it from there.
Okay, my name is Jennifer Currence, and I am the president of Encore Management Solutions and Encore Academy. I have about 20 years in HR experience, and I use that now to go in and create powerful programs for companies to develop their employees. It's talent development is what we call it in the HR world. So I do that through corporate training programs and coaching and onboarding programs, focus mostly on those high potential emerging leaders, new managers. That's me in a nutshell.
Hey, I think your internet might be a little bit slow because you're breaking up a little bit. So I don't know if you need to maybe move or something.
I'm going to try.
Okay. So you speak around the country, right? To
Yes.
groups. And a lot of stuff that you do is kind of alone, right? You're doing it yourself. You're working with groups. You're working with individuals. And so part of that is a lot of that you do alone, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Solopreneur.
Right. And so talk to us a little bit about like when you travel and things, that might come up as an entrepreneur that's it's unique to us, right? It's unique to our story. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. I don't really feel it as much when I travel, a little bit. I feel it more often when I'm trying to get things done when I'm at my home office or at co-work landing, and just and just working through some of the issues I have through getting everything done in a day. I'm only one person. I'm trying to create content, deliver content, and then do all of the marketing and finances and all of the different hats. I think you should call this hat talks.
I kind of like that because we're both. I really like that. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
See, that's the whole thing of, right? I mean, that sort of speaks to the accountability partnership is that we get these ideas and we talk to each other. So go ahead.
We're very good at doing ideas, getting ideas out there. But it's wearing a lot of different hats. And I am a coach and I have a business coach, and he calls it's not time management, it's hat management. Which hat are you wearing on, at this time of the day, and chunking your time to be able to get all of the things done. So that's the tricky part for me, is that I'm becoming busier and busier. So I'm traveling more and more because I go around the country. I've even done some international speaking engagements. And so to be able to have the time to travel, which takes up a lot of time, and then to also be, marketing the way I'm supposed to, and creating content and sending out emails and writing blogs and writing my book. So my publisher is not thankfully he's in DC, so he can't whip me with a wet noodle too often. But just trying to get all of the things done. And the problem with me is that I love doing all of it. And so it's hard for me to let go of some of it, but I know
Do you,
I need to.
do you love the finance part of it? Do you love the admin part of it?
I actually don't mind it. Because maybe it's because I'm a little bit of a control freak, but I I like to know what's going on. I've always loved numbers. So, and that's the business part of what I teach too. So, business acumen portion of it. So, I feel like there's a piece of me that feels like I have to practice what I preach, and then there's the other piece of me that's like, okay, I can't do it all. So, yeah,
So then, because today we want to talk about accountability partners.
yeah.
So kind of talk to me about how an accountability partner would help you with all of those things that you said that you struggle with. I know there's most of your business that you like, but how can me as an accountability partner help you with those pieces of your business?
Well, I think the key is with accountability partners is to have someone that is strong in an area that you're weak in, and so let me just share with the audience, anyone who's listening, is that the way that this kind of came about, you and I have talked about accountability for years and years. I think we first heard about it at church, but then I am currently in the process of doing a certification for change management leaders and how we manage change. And so I asked you to do an assessment so that I could kind of practice. And the certification says basically there's three ways people manage change. One is through the heart. We pay attention to the people. And the other one is through the process. We pay attention to the details. And then the other one is through the vision, the strategic aspect of what we're doing. So Shannon and I are different in the way that we manage change. And Shannon is a visionary. She looks at the big picture. And I actually tap out as a people person through working through the heart, focusing on the people, which makes sense because I've lived my life in HR. But one of the things I'm skilled at is focusing in on the details, and Shannon's more big picture. So we have decided that that is a great way for us to hold each other accountable. That you get up here and you can look at the big picture and long term, but I'm like, but wait, we have to do this, and more the detailed admin stuff, and we've already practiced that, just through creating this. I wanted to call it a podcast, this live video. You're like, hey, well, I'll talk to you at 8 o'clock or 8:10, whatever the case may be.
We tried it.
Yeah,
We had every intention.
it's all right. It's all good. I'll talk to you on Facebook Live, and I'm like, okay, what are we going to talk about? What's our agenda? And you're like, oh, so that's a great example of us talking about holding each other accountable. And so I need the agenda, and you need to make sure that I'm there at 8 a.m. on Friday, to be able to do this. So, and you're focusing on the long-term picture. So what is your reason for creating these Facebook Lives every Friday at 8 a.m.?
Just to give entrepreneurs a place to be able to come and get ideas, to think outside the box, to have a community where they feel connected and they feel like they have something in common with the people that are in the community, so that then they can talk about their small business. Because as much as we have accountability partnerships and things like that, a lot of times you have tasks. If you work for a company, you have tasks that you have to do, so you kind of know what you have to do, right? Because they tell you. Like for us, people don't tell us what to do. We have to make that up and then do it. So I think having a group of people that helps you create, first of all, what you need to do, and then second of all, how to do it, is so powerful in, I would say, our industry, but in the entrepreneur world, if you will.
Yeah, because heaven forbid if we miss a step, right?
Right.
We're
And
supposed to do that, Y, and Z, but we forget Y. Like, oh my gosh, now we can't do Z because we forgot Y, and I didn't even think about it. Where it might
right.
be completely obvious to somebody else in your mastermind group or what have you, or your accountability partner.
Right. So, so So I think that part of the accountability piece of it is to actually also have dedicated time where you're like, okay, this is the day, this is the time that we're getting together, and these are the things that we want to accomplish when we get together, as opposed to just friends getting together. Because a lot of people know, but you and I are best friends, so we get together all the time anyway. But the accountability piece of it doesn't have to necessarily be with a friend, but it has to be consistent. It has to have an agenda. You would love that. I mean, you love that piece of it, right? um, and you have to know what you're going to get when you come out of it. What's the end game of your time together?
The long
So
perspective. Yeah.
right, so that you're being intentional with it. So those are the three things that I think is important in accountability, having an accountability partner. um, what about you? Do you have anything else to add to that?
I'm thinking, and all I can think about is this new book I just got.
Oh, of course.
Of course, I am an admitted bibliophile, but it's a new book called Crucial Accountability. And
Okay.
I read its sister book, Crucial Conversations, but I'm really excited to read this Crucial Accountability book because I'm excited to learn new things about it. Yeah, about accountability and how to be successful. Because I think one of the things that um, annoys me about being accountable to someone is that I feel like I'm being nagged, you know? So that's what you don't want to happen in an accountability partner. You don't want to, I have to, there's a piece of it that's like, I have to do this because Shannon's going to ask me about it. And that I think is the good piece. But then the bad piece is I don't want to feel like I have to do this because Shannon's going to ask me about it. And then makes me feel like I'm lesser of a person. Not, I'm just using you because we're talking about being,
Right, right.
but just anyone in person, like, oh, they're nagging me about, like, you don't understand what I've been going through in my past week, and just lay off, as could be the thing that you're thinking about. So I think there's a balance there. How do you do it correctly so that feelings don't get hurt, or I don't get defensive, or what have you?
Right. So I think a way that you can do that is number one, has got to be a mindset, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you have to go, okay, I'm comfortable. You have to be comfortable with the person that you're being accountable to, number one. Number two, you have to know, like you set up with them, like, listen, Shannon or Jen, what I need from you is XYZ in this relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other part of it too, is being very intentional and expressing, this is what I need from you. I need you to nag me if I don't do it. Whereas you say, hey, listen, I need you to encourage me. I need you to understand if I tell you I'm going through something. And I think that's a way to, in all relationships, but especially in accountability, when you expressly say, this is what I want to get out of it. This is what I need from you.
One of the things that I think that Jen, need from you, Shannon, is to focus on the long term, because you're good at that. And sometimes I get so stuck in the mire and the muck of the details that I forget to look up. And so I think you can help me with that. So one of the things that, we talked about was that you're going to remind me, Jen, to,
Jen.
to uh, send out my emails, whatever I decide that is going to look like, once a week or every other week, to be consistent in that. And I think so when I think about that, I'm like, oh, I don't have time to write an email. And I think the thing that helps me get out of that is, okay, well, this is why you're doing it, because you're building a community, and this is the long-term effect, and you have to start now. Every journey starts with one step, so you have to start now to get to where you want to be. So just, you can do it. Just take out the 30 minutes, and you're a great writer. I know you can just knock it out and get out what you want to say, but you're going to make that impact just by taking that 30 minutes. So that's what I need from you. What do you need from me?
um, I need you, because I am the visionary person and I love to do the big picture stuff. I need from you the details. The, hey, listen, you can't go to Z because you haven't completed A, B, and D. um, and the encouragement piece of it too. Same thing, listen, I believe in you. I know that you've got this, because I think there's a lot of times where, I know we've talked about this before, where we just get so like, why isn't this going anywhere? And what's going on? And to have know that somebody believes in you, and know that you believe in me, and oh my gosh, you can absolutely do this, and this is what I know you're good at, kind of a thing. So
Okay.
I think that's helpful too.
Yeah, just the encouragement piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, that can be helpful because sometimes we get so like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this, I'm all alone, feeling like you're on an island. I do a lot of work with the HR department of one in small businesses, and I hear that all the time from them. Like, I don't have anybody to turn to, I don't have anybody to talk to
Yeah.
about situations that pop up. So,
Yeah.
same thing with entrepreneurs.
Yep. Hey, so when you're reading this book, if you could, in this Rise Mastermind group, if you get something out of it that's super powerful, just feel free to chime in and put that on the page. We love to hear that.
Oh, good
You
idea.
know, yeah, get encouraged from everybody. So, anybody that's watching too, we'd love for you, if you've got an idea, if you've got something that you think that the rest of the group could really benefit from, please add it. Please ask us questions, whatever the case may be. And I might change this morning thing to the hat. What'd you say? The hat, what?
Hat talk.
Hat talk. I might change it to that because I'm always wearing a hat.
I know. And it invites your others. So I told you, hey, I'm just going to wake up and put a hat on in my workout clothes because that's what you're wearing. So it takes away the, the, oh my gosh, I'm going to be on live on TV. It's like, yeah, no, we're just chatting.
I gotta look good. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right. Well, thank you for joining me this morning, and I will see you this evening because we're actually getting together for our first opportunity for accountability partnership.
Yeah.
And Jen and I kind of like to have wine with our accountability, so we're gonna be doing that too.
It's juice.
Huh?
Thinking juice.
That's right, thinking juice. All right, so everybody have a wonderful Friday, and we'll see you next week. All right,
Thanks.
bye.
Bye.